This is the time set aside for comments from the audience. Anyone from the audience having comments about something we've not previously discussed, come to the microphone, give your name and address, and we'll hear what you have to say.
Tim Scott, 2017 South 15th. Mr. Mayor, you had said a couple of meetings ago that when people come to the mic to bring up an item that the council wouldn't be able to discuss that. Did I hear that right? Or
yes, you did.
And why is that?
That was an opinion we received from the people who administer the open meetings laws.
Bureaucrats. That just saddens me to no end. The only opportunity the public has to talk to the council is at this meeting at this time. It's the only time that they can step forward and have a dialogue with the council. Now that's taken away from them. I mean, you can't email because the dependency on getting a return email is slim and none in many cases. And chances are very good you're going to get an email from others that it doesn't have an answer, it just says thank you for your email. There's no opportunity whatsoever to have a dialogue back and forth with the council. That is the epitome of non-government. That's the epitome of leaving the public out of government. I can't believe that somebody on this council didn't challenge that administrative decision by some socialist, I assume, that would say that. It's absolutely infuriating. I've been doing a slow burn for the last month over this. I didn't want to believe I was hearing what I was hearing. And when I first got on council, Don Henry made a suggestion that we open the meeting up the first 45 minutes, come early, open up the first 45 minutes, and have discussions with the public. What an ingenious idea, and for 3.5 years it worked great. I mean, people were calling in, they were coming down to the meetings. I went to Canada and I talked about this to 2 different councils, and they started doing the same thing. They thought, what a great idea, what an opportunity for our public to come down and talk to us and express to us what their concerns are, what their ideas are, what they want to see for the city of Burlington. And now they can't do that because they can only expect to see you sit there and listen to what they have to say. I'm so disappointed in that. I would, as individuals, I would take that further and look into it yourself and ask them to give you a pretty strong definition. You're not making a decision. You're having a dialogue with your constituents. If you can't do that, you shouldn't be sitting in those chairs. They shouldn't exist. And you're not doing the work for the public. You're doing the work for the bureaucrats, I assume. They're the ones putting together the agenda. There's no opportunity for someone to come up here and say, I want to see this on the agenda. You can't come and talk at a work session when you're putting an agenda together. I'm extremely disappointed in what government's becoming. It's got to change. It's a government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
I couldn't agree with you
more. Not for the bureaucrats.
I couldn't agree with you more, Mr. Scott, but people still can come and present their ideas.
But I agree.
But they can't have a dialogue.
And I agree with you, and I argued this point, and...
Well, it's our council. It's not some bureaucrats. It's not some administrator. It's not some lawyer sitting out there trying to make a buck.
No, but
it's our city. It's our city council.
But it is us responsible for the. But it requires the open meeting law.
I understand what Tim's saying, and I agree with Tim. Where, in order to have that dialogue, they must be present, and we must be able to converse back and forth. And if it's not on the agenda, how do they get it on the agenda without discussing it? It's not like we're making a decision. We're making a decision to either move forward with it and address it at a later time, because that's what we would have to do, or we choose to leave it alone.
Well, you
still have to have that dialogue.
What it's come to is the politics has come to the point where they're silencing the people, and they're doing it through local boards and commissions and governments.
And so the place to take it up is with the state representative and the state senators who passed the open meetings law.
You know I will.
Yeah.
You know I will.
And I will too.
But I would also hope that the people that we've elected to represent us would also be taking it up too, and would feel the same righteous indignation that some others do. I mean, people won't come to the council meetings and express themselves because they've given up.
But I think
I'll be darned if I'm ever going to give
But I
up.
think the open meetings law doesn't necessarily pertain to somebody that comes up and brings something up. It pertains with us bringing it up and us discussing it and moving forward with it. Because if Mr. Scott or whoever brings it up, that should not pertain to the open meeting law.
But it does.
And they said we can't talk. See, that's what I understand. Why do we even have it opened up where you guys can bring things if we can't talk about it?
Folks, this is all the arguments I brought up, and this is what we were told, so.
Well, I looked into it this past week too, and it's, it depends on who you talk to.
Of course, one thing that bothers me, you can have all the dialogue you want, but so what? You're one guy, or you're 6 people that come out here. We represent everybody in this community. And
I'm not saying my way, Bob.
I know,
I'm saying there's no chance to have a dialogue back and forth because you sat silent.
Well, what good does it do?
What does it do?
I can argue with you all night, then what do? Oh, you sit down, all right.
No, I don't sit down, I leave.
Okay.
If you don't understand that simplicity of a dialogue talking back and forth, it's like a Republican and a Democrat trying to talk. There is no dialogue.
Okay.
It's you do it my way, you do it my way. There's no in between. There's no working. There's no dialogue. There's no opportunity for anybody to accomplish anything. But it's wrong.
I appreciate your comments, and I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I don't.
Thanks.